Welcome to my channel. In this series of videos, I'm going to be showing you how to do some basic 3D modeling and some more advanced 3D modeling in 3ds Max. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a basic city model. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the top view, and we're going to create a rectangle. So this rectangle is just going to be the base of the model. So I'm going to make it 400 meters by 400 meters. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is create the roads. So these are going to start off as lines, and I'm just going to do some going in each direction. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to highlight the roads. So just make sure you have the rectangle selector on. So we're going to highlight the roads, and we're going to do a spline offset to make the roads wider. So go into the Modify panel and go into spline offset. And distance represents the width of the roads. So I'm going to keep these as 10. And I'm just going to change it to open round. And I'm going to delete the original spline. Okay, so now that I have done that, I'm going to delete these lines, delete the roads from the rectangle. So to do this, I'm just going to highlight the rectangle. Then I'm going to go into the Create panel and go to Compound Shapes. We're going to do a shape Boolean. So to do this, first I'm going to go into Subtract, and we're going to subtract the roads. So click Add Operands and just select the roads, and then they should delete as you select them. Okay, so now that we have this basic shape, what we're going to do is go into the perspective viewport. I'm going to maximize that viewport. Okay, so now we're going to toggle the layers, and we just want to make a copy of this layer now. So just right click, clone, and we'll just make it as a copy. Okay, so I just want to rename these. So I'm just going to call this one, buildings. And the second one is going to be called curbs. All right, so now that we've done that, we're just going to hide the curbs for now. We don't need them just yet, and go to the buildings. Okay, so now I'm just going to press G to get rid of the grid. Okay, so now that we've done that, you can scroll down in the Modify panel, and to just kind of cut the corners of what's going to be the buildings, I'm just going to give it a chamfer, and I'm just going to increase that. And oh yes, just make sure that you have highlighted all of the lines. So I'm just going to delete. I'm just going to delete that, and I'll select all of the lines, and I'm going to put a chamfer on all of them and give it about 15. Maybe a little bit less, 10, see what that looks like. Okay, that looks slightly better. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to quantify the mesh. So you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So if you go to your modify list again, just press Q, quantify mesh. Just press F4 to enable the edged faces. So now you can see that the mesh is quantified. So we can adjust the quad size here. If you increase it, then it will increase the size of the quads. Decrease it, it will make the quads smaller. So I'm gonna see what this looks like at about 4%. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Greeble on top of this. Greeble is a modifier that can be downloaded from the internet, and I will put the description of where you can download it in the information section below. So when you add the Greeble, you'll see that you have this kind of cool city effect going on. And you can adjust the heights, you can adjust the heights and the density of these widgets on top, which I'll do in a second. But first I'm just going to adjust the height slightly. So I want to make the maximum height, let's say about 18 meters. And we'll make the minimum height about 8. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And if you want to adjust the size of the quads, you can simply go back to quantify mesh and just increase the percentage here. Okay, so I think it looks slightly better as 5.5, so I'll leave it as that. And now, so what we want to do is create some footpaths. So to do this, we're going to go back into the in the layer explorer, and I'm going to hide the buildings, and I want to show the curbs. So first, I just want to round the corners of the curbs so they're not too like cornered. So to do this, I'm going to just select the curbs and do what we did before. Select all of the lines here. Just hold Shift and click. And we're going to fillet this time. And if we just increase the size of the fillet, you'll see the corners have rounded. And I think that looks pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a sweep modifier. So I'm just going to add that, and we can change it to a bar. And then I'm going to make it the sort of height of the average curbs. So I'm going to make this about 0.3. Oh, no, I'll keep that 6. Make the length 0.3. And that looks pretty good. So you can go back into the create panel to change the color of them. I'm just going to make it white. And now we can add our buildings and see what it looks like. Okay, so that was pretty good. There's just a slight gap in the corner of the building, between the building and the curb. So we can fix that quite easily by just going back into the sweep, and we can increase the width to about 7 and see how it looks. And it needs a bit more. Let's make it 7.5. And 8. Okay, so that's better. Okay, so that's how you make a basic city model in 3ds Max using the Greeble modifier.